Hi, also welcome to another day on this JMeter trend. And as a recap, so in last 5 days, yeah, almost 5 days, we have completed this topics. So from today, we will start with this one. So starting with JMeter basics. Some terminologies. Okay. So in JMeter, uh, there are some terms that we have to we have to just understand. So first term is it's called thread group. Okay. So thread group will be you can say it will act as a business scenario, right? So uh, whenever we will be scripting anything or will be like we'll be talking about a business scenario and all the transaction involved in that. So all those transaction will be kept inside thread group. And everything almost starts by adding a thread group. Okay. So it basically means a business scenario and it holds the complete end-to-end transaction with the request for that scenario. There can be multiple thread groups also in yeah, there can be multiple thread groups also in a business in our JMeter script. Then next term used is so in a test plan means in a JMeter script we can have one thread group representing one scenario, or we can have multiple thread groups representing multiple business scenarios. When there is a multiple thread group, that is called as test suite. Now, users. Okay, so we have virtual users. You have seen also. So this virtual users, right? The users create there is real user and then we have virtual user. Virtual user are the user created by tool. So these user are called as thread in our JMeter terminologies, because thread is a word which came from Java multi-threading framework. So and JMeter is Java-based application. So that's why. So thread means user or virtual user. Then we have a request. Okay. So a request we have seen, right? We know what is a request. So a request in JMeter is called as a sampler. And then we have this embedded resources concept. So they are called as subsamplers or subsamples. Now, next, there are 12 major components in JMeter. Okay. So those major components are test plan, non-test element, thread or user, you can say, and thread group, sampler, logic controller, config element, timer, assertion. Then we have listeners, right? Preprocessor, post-processor, and test fragment, 12. So I have launched JMeter here. And, zoom. So you can see that. So whenever you open JMeter, first of all, it will be looking like this, and we will see this one, right, which will be the first one, that is test plan. Then right click here and add, right? And when you so by default test plan will always be there, and test plan act as, you can say, a parent uh, element. Okay, means everything is there inside test plan only, so it will be always visible. So name itself test plan. Here you can whenever you click on element here, right side you can see its original name, right, and its properties or feature or attributes, right, or settings also. Now, whenever you will be right clicking on test plan, now you'll get a button called add, and then you will see all this. So these are what it's a sub element. So we have threads and thread group. Okay. Then we have your non-test element, then your config element, listener, timer, preprocessor, post-processor, assertion. So we will just talk about one by one. So test plan is the main element, right? It holds everything. Then next is non-test element, right? So when you right click, we have a non-test element, and non-test element have some sub element. Now in this middle one is the important one. Okay. This sub element of non-test element is important one. It is used for recording. Its name is HTTP test escape recorder. So it is used for recording. So they are used for recording and they are present only at test plan, right? Then uh, again we have here right click and then we have threads and then so many thread group, but major one we use is this thread, right? So thread group will act as a scenario. Okay. So you can say and all the transaction and everything will be keeping inside. So then we have two more, sampler and logic controller. I'll come to them later on. First let us discuss other. So then if you see we have next one is config element, right? So if you right click and again you see your config element and there are some sub elements of config element. So config element are used as configuration element and they are used for applying available setting in the test plan, right? Then we have a timer. Timer will be used timers, right? So you can right click here and go to add and you see timer. We have so many time. So timer are used for applying think time and wait time and pacing in JMeter. Okay. Then we have assertions. Here again right click and add and see your assertion and so many assertions. So assertions are used for verification and validation of response data as well as business functionality. Right. Then we have listeners. Okay. Again listeners. So right click and you'll see add and again listeners. So some listeners are again here. So listeners are used uh, to see the result. So you can think why their name is like they listens the result and different test matrices or test result and displays them to us. Right. So that is what is. So to see the results. Then then we have preprocessor and processor. So again, if you right click on test plan, you can see preprocessors are there, some preprocessor, and then we have post processor and some post processor. So post preprocessors, they what preprocessor does. So these elements are used to do some action, right, or some activity before the request. Means suppose you are filing a request. Now because they are executed, remember preprocessors are executed before the request. That's why they are called pre. So before a request is fired and before that you want to do something, some activity. So that time we will be using preprocessors. Okay. Then we have post processor. Right? So same way, if you right click and add, and then you'll see post processor. These so many post processors. Post processor are more important, right? So post processors are used. They are executed after the request is fired. After the request is fired, that time they're executed, and hence they are used to do in some work or some activity, some task after the request. Means after the request got fired, and then we want to do something. So that time we use post processor. Yeah. And then one more we have test fragment. So test fragment is an individual element. It's a simple element. It doesn't have sub elements, right? And it doesn't have that much important use as well. So you can see test one. So yeah, this one. Now every element which we have seen, like thread group, config element, listener, timer, do you see they have sub elements as well, right? Sub elements. So on an average, they are test plan is the one. And if you right click, then you count thread group 2, config element 3, listener 4, timer 5, preprocessor 6, post processor 7, assertion 8, test fragment 9, and non-test element 10. So total on an average, we have 10 elements which are shown here, and each of these elements have sub elements, right? Sub. So remember, each sub element of JMeter has its own unique importance and use, right? But they are categorized as 12 major elements. So for now, we have just counted 10, right? So where are other two? So other two are the sampler and logic controller. Okay. So the sampler and logic controller, you will only find when we use a thread group. Means suppose you right click here and you go add, so you will not see that number 4 and number 5, the sampler and logic controller. Do you see them here? They are not available here, right? So when they will be available, when we let us say click on any of this thread group, generally we use this second one, thread. So suppose I clicked on that and you see it got added, right? So if you right click again here also, then also you will see all elements will be there. All sub elements will be there. Pre, post, assertion, timer, test fragment. Do you see all are there? But apart from that, two more has added, right? So you can see the sampler and there's so many sub sampler. And then we have logic controller. So these many logic, total 18 logic controllers are, right? So samplers, these samplers act as request. Okay, they act as you request, and they are only present at thread group level. Means when you add a thread group, that time only will find the samplers. Same way logic controller, they are also present at thread group level. When you add a thread group, that time only you will find this logic controller, right? So the samplers act as a request, and what this logic controller do? Logic controllers are more important. Means everything is important, but yes, more important to focus on. 18 logic controllers are there. These all. So they control the execution flow of the transaction inside a scenario. So suppose you have done login, then you are doing a select a product, and then suppose add it to cart. Now select a product transaction you want to run 5 times, right? Let us say for an example. So that 5 item can be added. 5 item can be added in the cart, right? Add to cart. So you will run select item 5 times, right? So that is how looping, right? So that is one example I'm saying. So there are many examples. The control of execution flow of the transaction inside a scenario. That is what this logic controls. Name itself is controller. Logically control the execution flow. Okay. So one example like just now, suppose you are doing select a product and you want to run it 5 times so that 5 different products can be added. So how you will do that, right? So this controls, right? So that is the thing. So see, whenever you right click on test plan, you will find all these elements. But on this test plan level, you will not find the sampler and logic controller. And when you right click on thread group, there also when you go to add, you will see all those elements. But here two extra elements, sampler and logic controller will come. Then one more thing, this non-test element that you see, this is only present at test plan. Means only when you right click on test plan, you will be able to see non-test element. But when you click on anywhere, uh, like suppose thread, we will not see that non-test element, right? So that's why somewhere I have especially written two elements. Like so, these two elements are especially found when we right click thread group. This element is especially found when we right click on test plan, and these two are especially found when we right click on thread. That's why other all these elements can be present anywhere. You right click either here or here, everywhere you see them, right? And all these elements have sub element, and all these sub element of JMeter has on importance and use, right? So total now how much? Earlier we counted 10, right? And this sampler and logic control, total 12 major element or components, right? So we will be covering all this thing in our syllabus, in our course. I've just given a highlight here. Test plan, the main thing. non-test element 3 are there, thread groups 7 are there, logic control 18 are there, right? Then samplers are there, 10 samplers, assertion 5, config element 11, correct? Timer 6, preprocessor 4, post-processor 7, listeners almost 12, 13 are there. Now, introduction to some of the JMeter elements. So first thing to start with, we uh, yeah. So first thing starts with recording. Remember, because if we go back and understand the PTLC life cycle again, yeah. So uh, this we have this all we have discussed, but test scripting, right, which was the major one where like use of tool starts, and test scripting or test design has some multiple sub-step, right? So identification, documentation of business transaction, and so business scenario and the transaction in that, right? So we have gone through that in depth. So now you have all the idea, right? What a business scenario means and what are the transaction and request. Each transaction has a request, right? All this. So we have to identify and document them. Then next start with script preparation with recording. So in that recording, what we do, we record or capture the request and response for each transaction or user action for a particular business scenario on that application. So suppose you are working on product booking, right? Product booking on an application. So there will be some transaction, right? That we do. Transaction are what? User action. And when we do those user action, request will be fired and response will be coming. We have just seen, right? So we have to capture them. So everything starts with recording, and uh, in this recording, why it is recorded, because we need those request and response, right? Because this is what a tool will be sending also, because when a real user is doing any transaction, so when a real user is doing any transaction, right? So we have understood that suppose you are doing a launch, so this request is fired, we need the request and a response comes. We selected one refrigerator, then request got fired, then we choose one of the refrigerator, then this request got fired. We clicked on buy now, then these two requests got fired, right? And response system. So suppose we have to prepare a script for that. So we need this request, because see, at the end of day, user is doing user action, or you can say technically that is one transaction, but that is only that, that is only yeah. So that thing, right? Clicking thing is GUI stuff, right? It's GUI stuff. Only on at UI part, user is doing that click or whatever. Technically, you call it is a transaction. But at technical level, what is happening? Right? Technical level, click means you are sending a request only. So we need those requests, right? Because as a tool, we will be sending this request and try to receive the response. And this activity has to be, this request response thing has to be done for multiple users, right? So that's why this thing starts with recording only, so that for every transaction we can capture this stuff, right? Getting the okay. Uh, So capturing, right? Capturing is there. Then capturing of request and response for every transaction in any business scenario that we will be working, and that capturing is what it is also called as recording. Okay. Now, yeah. Now, so that is what everything starts with recording, and then enhancement, right? In that correlation and all these things. So first we will talk about recording, and that's where we will see some of the elements. So to uh, initially we will start with four, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 elements. Okay. So see this. Okay. So first let explain a little bit about this JMeter stuff. So if you see, this is JMeter, right? Whenever you open, this is how it looks. Now here you can see on top file, and in that some menus will be there. Then edit, some menus, search some menu, run some menu, option. It has some menu, tool has some menu, help has some menu, right? Now below that, so this is the main menu stuff, right? And below that, okay. So below that, you will see some logo items, right? Logo item. So actually, this logo or icons that we see, they are shortcuts. Okay, they are what? They are shortcuts kept by JMeter people. So shortcut for what? So I'll tell you. So if you see file, if you click on file, you can see name is there. Sorry, new is there. Template, open, right? Save. Right? We have new template, open, and save. So 4 are there. So this same thing, they have a shortcut given here. This first one is new. If you hover your mouse, it will show you. See, new, it's saying. And second one is template. Then third one is open. Then this is save, right? So this is new. This is template. This is open. This is save. So this is shortcut. From where it is coming in file, it's the new, template, open, and save. So 4 shortcut. Then same way, next we have this. This is cut. The scissor is cut. You can see this is copy. This is paste. Expand all, collapse all, toggle. So it is coming from here. Edit, in edit you can see here. Copy is there. Then toggle is there. Right. Add, paste. You see. Add is for that adding element. Paste is there, right? Copy, paste, paste. Then so enable, disable is called toggle. So I'll tell you what is this toggling also. So we have cut, copy, paste, and this expand all. This plus is for expanding, minus is collapsing, and toggle. So that is also here, I think. Collapsing and expanding, collapsing. Here it's expand all, collapse all. Do you see? So from where it is coming, then this is toggle. Then this green button, if you see, it's start of test, start all, stop the test, shut down. So this is coming from run. You can see a start test, a stop test, shutdown test, right? So shortcut for that. Then here we have a brush. Brush is for clearing the result. 2 brushes are there, right? So that is also coming from here. Clear the result, clear all, right? So clear and clear all. Then we have search, this binocular kind of thing, search, then reset search. Then this is function helper dialog box, which is in tools. You can see function helper dialog box. JMeter has some inbuilt function. When you click that, this pop-up comes where there are some functions also. Right? So we will be using them, right? So that's what. Okay. So hope you got the idea, right? That all things are there in this, but the important one, very important one, which JMeter people think, all those menu shortcut is given here, and we have to just hover our mouse, like here you can see. We have to just hover our mouse, and if you just hover your mouse, no? Hovering means just place the mouse there. It will tell the name of them. Right? It will tell. So by default, whenever you open JMeter, you can choose new, this first one, and it will be looking like this. Okay, test plan will. Then what we have to do? So test plan is a major element or parent element. Detector is holder or container or root. All other elements are its children, right? Or you can say all other elements are sub element of test plan, right? Now, when we add test plan, after that, first thing we have to add is thread. Okay. So right click here and then go to add and threads and add the element called thread. We have so many elements, so many thread group here. This is also thread group. This is also thread group. But for now, we will be using this second one, and most of the time we use this one, right? Thread. This thread group will act as a business scenario, and it will hold a complete end-to-end transaction of that scenario, right? With the request in that. So we added it. So click on that, and it will be added. Then we have to add. So then we have to add a controller called recording controller. So recording controller is a sub element of logic controller. Logic controller we have just discussed. So this recording controller, first I'll add recording, then I'll replace it with simple control. So this is a sub element of logic controller. And this recording controller or simple controller, they are used to keep all the recorded transaction and the request inside a thread group. So inside a thread. So inside a thread group means right click on thread group and go to logic control. And then you'll see here recording controller sound. This is recording control. And we have a simple controller. First, I'll use recording control. Just click on that and you'll see it will be added. Right? So hope you see inside a thread group. Inside test plan, we added thread group. Now inside thread group, we added the recording controller from list of logic control. Right? Then we'll add a listener. View result. Listeners are used for display of the result, right? Displaying the result. So to see some results. So which listener we will be using? The view result entry, which is one of the important listener. You can see here also I have written on top. So this element, specifically the important one, I have kept on top one. So by that way we go now in uses. So view result tree. Right? So we will use it at two places. First of all, we will use inside thread group. So again, right click on thread group, go to add and see listener. And the first one only itself will be view results tree. So click on that. Yeah. Now, so this is done, right? So this is done. So we have added till now, test plan is already there, thread group, recording, right? And so you can see here, when you add them, a line will be coming. So from thread group, one line is coming and it's branching here. And another line is coming, which is branching here. So which says that these two are the sub elements or means inside a thread group, right? And then we have a key symbol there, which is used for expand and collapse. Plus means expand, minus means collapse, means minimizing and maximizing. So I'll show you just this. So if I click on this, so you see it got minimized, or if I'm clicking it got minimized. Again, if I click on it got maximized or maximized, right? So this same thing is called as expanding and collapsing, right? So this is collapsing, this is expanding, or minimize, maximum, minimize, maximum. Right now, we will add one recording controller. Sorry, recording controller. This non non HTTP test script record, non test element. Okay, its element is HTTP test script. So non test element is a major element. So where we will find them? We will find them in test plan level only. So when you right click on test plan, go to add and this non-test element, and the important here, like just now I also told that this the middle one, which is second one, is a very important one, so we will be adding.
see it got added. This element is a very important element used for recording. It's a very important sub element of non-test element. And plus it is the only element in JMeter which is used for recording, right? Just now we discussed what we have to record. So for that uh, purpose, this is used, recording. Okay. Then inside this also, we will be using that listener called view result. So right click on this HTTP test script recorder, add listener, and you see view results. Okay. So you can see. So this view result tree is added at two places. One is inside thread group, here, and one is here inside. Why it is at two places, I'll be explaining slowly. So hope you got it, right? Now, remember in JMeter, there is a concept called parent-child concept. Children concept is parent-child concept. Parent-child concept. Okay. So see all the elements inside a particular element are known as children of that element, right? So it means that generally we know, right, in our family, grandfather, father kind of concept is there. So how it is? So suppose this is grandfather, and then we have a father, his two sons, right? So suppose we can call it father one and father two, which is uncle, right? We call them as uncle. So I'm saying it as a father. Then this one will be having children, so son one and son two, and this they also will be having children, suppose son one and son two. So this father two is direct father of this two, right? Or they are direct children of this. Same way, these are direct children of this. But these are indirect children of this. And again, this grandfather is direct father of this, right? But indirect father of them, correct? Or they are indirect children of this, right? So getting the point. So same way you can understand here. Like test plan is always the main one. Inside test plan, we added two elements. You can see thread group and HTTP test script recorder. So one line is coming and branching here. You can see a thread group and another test script recorder. So these two are what they are. These two are direct children of test plan. Now, same way inside thread group we have these two elements: recording controller and view result. So recording controller, you can see it's these two are direct children of thread group because you can see here that one line is branching, right? So they both are added in this, right? Inside thread group. So they are direct children of thread group, correct? And again, in this HTTP test script recorder, we have added another view result. So it's the direct children of this HTTP test script. And we can maximize and minimize also, you can see. Correct. So hope you guys, we all understood this, right? Now, next is we will do recording. So we'll do a sample recording today. So let us try to understand that recording in JMeter and proxy server sets, right? So how JMeter, this recording feature works in JMeter. Then we will try to understand this proxy server setup, why that is needed, and how proxy server setting works in JMeter. Okay. So because first we have to first the things start with recording. We will be so to do a recording in JMeter, right? First we have to do what? We have to set up a proxy server in our system, using which anywhere where we will be working. So currently I'm working in my laptop and I have JMeter, right? So I'm going to do a recording on a transaction, recording of a transaction on a website. So which website? So let us say we'll take this. And put this adapting, we will take. This is a website, right? So there here two scenarios are there: hotel booking and hotel cancellation, and one you can register also. So first time if you are coming to this website, you can register yourself by going to new user register, and then uh, fill these details, and you have to enter your correct email ID. A verification link will go, and once you verify, then whatever username and password you have created, you can using that you can log in here, and then you can book hotels and you can cancel the hotel, right? So that is there. Now so see, these are sample test cases for that adapting hotel. Now these test cases are designed as a functional like as a functional tester. You can see it there. It's a test case document, sample test case document for automation, functional automation testing, or you can say manual testing. Because two things are there, right? Functional testing, uh, then performance testing. So they both, how they both differ, we know. So this is one document for functional testing. It is there on that website, so it's downloaded from there. See it. Somewhere I downloaded. So there here. Okay. So if anyone want to have an idea how a test case document, functional test case document looks, you can refer. Saying that steps are there, how that is performed, right? Expected result to see. It's this is how. So you see, a functional document is more complex because every functionality they have to test. Simply or for uh, launch only, verify valid login details. We have two steps are there to verify. Then verify whether after login some dates and other thing are coming or not. For they have written 7 steps to verify, right? Like so, yeah, the total starting with 101 till total 20 cases are there. Right? So this is functional, but we do not have to. I'm just saying that I was just here. We have as a performance tester, we have two scenario you can do. One is once you log in, then we book a hotel, then you can cancel the hotel also. Now ignore that for now. So we will be recording this website. Uh, so first of all, just to show you, I'll be using two transaction. One transaction is launch of the website. Okay. So launch of the website. So launching of the website, which is transaction one, as this that is the request you can see here. First identify the request. So this is the request, right? Hope you will be able. Adaptinhotel.com. Others are embedded resources, and we have a response in code. Then uh, after that, what I'll be doing, I'll be clicking on new user register link. This, this. So that will be user action 2 or transaction 2. So when we click on this, then a new page comes up, which is this page. So for that also you can see here only one request is there, which is called register.php, register.php, and we have a response in code form. And then there are this embedded resources, right? So we'll just record this two transaction of this flow. Now that's what. So uh, like why to record, right? So we have understood long back only that
we need this request to be captured. For every transaction, there is a request. So any flow we will be working, let us say user registration or product booking. So we will be doing some, we will be launching, then login is there, then select dates, select hotel, all these things transaction are there. When we are doing that transaction, so request will getting fired for that transaction, right? And we need those requests plus payload also. Suppose some payload is being sent, so we need those payload as well, right? So we have to capture that. So that's why recording is important. Now, how that recording is done, right? So that is what we are trying to understand. So I'll be using these two transactions to show as an example. Now, how to do the recording? So when we want to do the recording, right, we have to set up a proxy server in our machine where we will be doing the recording. Right? And that is how the recording feature works in JMeter. Okay. So first of all, what we have to do is in JMeter, you add this four element like I have to test plan will always be there, then thread group. Inside thread group recording controller and view result, right? And then again at test plan level, add HTTP test escape recorder and add. So this two is done. Now what we have to do is we have to do some selection here in HTTP test escape recorder. Okay. So before that, see every element, as I said, so this is the element and the right hand side you can see its exact name and all its this all can be called as settings, right? Settings, attributes, features or properties, whatever you like you can say, right? So these are the attributes or feature of test plan. Here this is thread group. These are the attribute or properties or settings of thread group. This is recording controller. These are features or attributes of recording controller. These are view result tree. These are attribute or setting or feature of view result tree. Same way, this is HTTP test, and these are all its setting or attribute. Now in this setting, we have to do some selection. Means yeah, some selection. First selection is uh, like here a port number will be there. Let it be. Then your target controller, you will see by default use recording controller it will show. So fine, we have recording controller. Means whatever the recording we will be doing, that will be going inside that recording controller. Then grouping, okay, remember grouping, we have to, here drop down is there. It's not showing because I have just zoomed it more, but you can see here drop down is. So from this drop down, we have to just choose this fifth one. Okay, grouping, remember. Put each group in new transaction controller, fifth one. So that you have to choose. Then mm, yeah, then your naming schema will be prefix. Okay, let it be. Yeah, there are so many things are there, but prefix is good. Yeah. Hmm. What? Group this, yes. Put group means one transaction is called as group, one group. So suppose one transaction can have a few requests, right? More than one request. So that will be grouped in one transaction controller. So that is grouped, right? Grouping. So each group, like each such group of each group means here each such group of such request for a particular transaction will be grouped in separate transaction. So that is, so I'm telling you what are the best selection we have to do. So, this is there. And just verify. This will be by default. It will be there. Just verify. Then your prefix will be there. Other thing like here checkbox will be there. Here no checkbox. No need to enter them. Only thing is initially this follow redirect we do not do. Okay, so follow the redirect and check that. Check will be there, but uncheck. This I'll be explaining later on. But for now, that is. Now once this is done, then we go to our browser using which we will be doing the recording. In browser, three dots will be there on top right corner, and this using this three dot we have to go to setting, and then here we have to search proxy.
When you search proxy, this comes. This is system proxy setup, and you can see here downside here manual proxy setup is there. So you have to come here and click on setup. Right? When we click on setup, then so when we click on setup, this will open up. We have to make it on, and then here we have to type a word called localhost. What we will be typing? LOCAL, local, HOST, localhost. Okay, it's a fixed word. Type everywhere, localhost, and the port. Remember, port here number that should be same which is here. And generally, this one is only used. No need to change. Even if you want to change, you can change, but not necessary. Okay, so just match this port. Give that port over here. 8888, and no need to check anything else. Just do the save. Yes. So when you do the save, it means that proxy has become on. Right now, when the proxy will be on, I'll tell you. Normal internet will not work. Even this page only. So do not get confused. Okay? Even this page, I'll try to. If we try to refresh this, load it, it will show you no internet. Okay, or here it will show you very clear that proxy connection failed. So remember, do not panic. Right? Again, I'm saying whenever you make this proxy server setup on, so by default, when you try to access the internet in your Google Chrome or Internet Edge, after making it on, it will throw a message like this. You will not be able to. Only when we will be doing the recording, that time the pages will open up. Otherwise, pages will not be open up by default. If you want to open this pages, then again you have to like make it off, right? So that we'll do later on. First, we'll do the record. So for now, it's on. Now, what we have to do is we will start incognito mode. Why incognito mode? Because a fresh session, we'll start with that application on which we want to do the recording, right? So this is incognito. Now let us come here. Here, click on start, and when you click on start, the first one uh, pop-up checkbox will come. Like yeah, this will come. This pop-up will come. It will vanish in 5 seconds. Just stop it. Again, you can stop us. Now also start. So this pop-up, it will vanish in 5 seconds, or you can click on OK. It's related to certificate. It always comes up. No need to worry. Just click on OK. Then this comes. Okay. Here we have to put the transaction. Okay. Now transaction name. See, no one will tell you what is the transaction. That transaction name we design from our end. Okay. Now transaction name generally how it is designed. We reference with the user action that we are doing. Okay. So related to that, the name we keep. Now let us say first name what we will be keeping. First name we are going to do homepage launch, right? So we can give T01. T stands for a transaction, 01 as a number, underscore homepage, like that, right? Something you can give. So let us give here T01 homepage, or just homepage also. Because of this certificate issue, this is also not home page, right? So hope you people are able to see my screen. I think there's no problem. Yeah. So home page, right? Just give the home page name. So first you have to give the transaction name. Always remember first transaction name T01 underscore homepage. Then put the URL name here and just hit the enter button so that that will open. So I'm not putting it, or if you want me to put it. Yes. I will do what? Yeah, for now I'll share it, but I'll create a folder also where I'll keep all those stuff, and you can download from there.
when every meeting there is a notes generated by this Zoom, that also I will say. Okay, for now, I've pinged that one. Okay, so where we so we are here. This is incognito mode. This is done. Now put that URL here. Just hit enter button. This is a connection error related to HTTPS. So we will be talking about this next session. For now, just let us click on continue to the site. We see page came, right? That page, and it's loading. So you can see on top right corner, it's still loading. So let it fully load. Let it fully load. Until it fully loads, we have to wait, because this traffic is getting routed. What is meaning of route? And I'll tell you later on. First, so that's why it's slow. You see, still taking time actually. But yeah, now that thing has just stopped. Means this page is fully loaded. So now, so homepage has been recorded. You can go and check here also. So here in view result tree here some stuff. I'll come to this. Here in this recording controller, you can expand this, right? And you'll see so many things, but no need to worry. I'll be explaining things. But for now, if you see this home page, and this is that request. Okay, this is that request. Correct. You remember I've just shown you the request before recording. Or here also we can find that request number which is shown. This is the request, and we have response. So that's right. So that request and that transaction got recorded. Next, another transaction. So another transaction was clicking on this link, right? So before doing that another transaction, remember first we have to update the transaction name. Right? So I will update this T02. So suppose new user register page, right? Or simple new user register. That much is also. Now I'll be clicking on this. So once the name has been updated, next transaction 2 or user action 2, we will click on this. So let us. So fine. So still this page has came. It has been recorded, but let it load. So you can again see on top right corner getting loaded. Yeah, now it's fully loaded. So only 2 transactions for now. I'll just do a stop. Fine. So before I come and explain this thing, let us do what? Once your recording is done, right? So remember to disable the proxy, make it off, because as I'm saying, or previously also as I said that if your by normally if you try to access the internet, it will not work. Let us say even Google, I'm trying to open it, it's showing that no internet error. So remember, only while doing the recording, we have to make it on, this proxy on, and then once recording is finished, we have to do it off, make it off. Otherwise, while browsing, normally your internet thing will not work. Even your internet is connected, it will not. It will throw error, and error also error code will be like this. So I'll revert it back. Save, do save. Or if I go there and now you see, even if I refresh, it is working. So first of all, let us try to understand what is this proxy and why it is needed. Right? So see, whenever we are doing something on this application, right? Let us say we launch this website, right? So this was the request got fired. So it went to the server, right? It went to the server and response came. So using browser, we are doing that. So using browser, we launch this request went to the server, response came, and we see this page. But what is the background activity? We all know, right? We all know, right? That request is going and response is coming, which is in code format, and after that it's getting rendered, and we see this. So this is direct activity. Now we have to record this system, the request going and the response coming. We have to record it, or we have to capture it, right? So for that purpose, for every transaction we have to do, not only for this, even if we click on new register page, then for this also a request goes and response comes. So we need to capture that. So for capturing only, we need to do this setup called proxy server set. In that, what we do, we add those elements in JMeter, right? And basically for recording this element, HTTP request element, HTTP TCP script recorder element is the major element. Here one port number is there. And then in browser, we go and we open up the system setting. We open up setting and then we try type proxy, correct? And then here manual proxy, and we do the setup. We have to make it on, type localhost here and port it and save, right? Save. So that is how it becomes on, and then we open the incognito window of the browser and we start recording by clicking on start here and putting the transaction name, right? Fine. So this is how proxy server is done. Now, why that is needed or how it works? Let us try it one. So see, earlier when using browser, we were sending a request. So it was directly going to the server, right? And from server, it was coming directly to the browser earlier. But now, when we have set up the proxy, so means in system we have done the setup proxy, and then port number, let us say in system we have given 888, and in JMeter also that port number is there set up, right? And then we do a start. So what happens actually here? It's kind of network capture or network hacking is started, hacking kind of thing. Okay, hacking, or you can say sniffing. Okay, sniffing. Network sniffing is started. Now, when network sniffing starts, so what happens? Whenever using a browser you do anything, so once you put the start button, then using browser you do anything. So that request, instead of that earlier going to the server directly, now it is first going to the JMeter. Okay, and it getting captured everything, the request body and request header, that is getting captured. Then from there it is going to the server. Now from server, when the response is coming, you see, that is also coming and it is coming to JMeter, and that whatever the response body and response header, both, right? They both are coming here and then both are getting captured in JMeter, and then it is coming back to the browser. Same way, whatever the next transaction we did, so that request also, it is going there, getting captured, then it is going to the server. Then from server, whatever response is coming, it's coming here and it's coming to the browser, right? So this is how this recording feature works, or this is why we need to set up the proxy server setup, how it works and why we need it, right? Got that. And again, when that is done, recording is done, we disable this setup, we disable this. Otherwise, normally we cannot browse our internet, right? So how, so we can, and we can see here in JMeter, so and just now you see this, this was the request, right? With the request body and request here, and we had the response body here, right? And response header, correct? So uh, right. So this is the request, the request header, right? So it's there, right? Request and request header, they're there now. Then we have what? We have response, which is in port format. You can see complete response is in port format, and so complete response is in port format, this much code, right? And then we have a response header here. You can see, so the same thing, response data and response body. You can see. So this is complete response. You can see here, right? And then a response header. Same way, another request is there downside. It will just yeah. Next one.
So register.php. So when we click on register.php, so this is the request. Register.php and request header. Then it bought a response, right? And response header. So we can check that. See this like transaction here, transaction number. Sorry, transaction number 2. Its number actually it's 11, and that is one. So the request, right? Register.php, get request and everything is fine. Then header, request header. Then we have, if you click on response data, we have response body, which is in code format, and we have response header. So this is one. So this thing we can view in yeah. So this all thing we can view in view result tree, which is added inside HTTP traces order. Right. So there everything got captured and we see them. Right. So what request went with request body and request header for every transaction that you did. So for every transaction and all its requests, right? Actually transaction is nothing. Transaction is name we are giving from our side. Everything is request, right? So what for every transaction, whatever request went, the request body, request header, and what response came, the response body and response header, that is captured. So that is what it gets captured, and that's why we need this server setup, right? Now, apart from that, you will also observe like embedded resources. You see PNG file capture, all those things. They will also be seen. Yeah, the embedded resources. This is file register dot this logo hotel dot jp file capture dot php. These all are embedded resources, and you will see them getting captured here. And here, so that is for first one. Like on the first page also, this was the request, and these were the embedded resources. So you can see the same thing, the embedded resources stuff. So now, so understand. So this all thing will be captured and will be shown in this view result. Okay. Before that, so hope you understood the idea of this proxy server setup, how it works, why it works, right? Why we need to set up, and also disabling it, enabling it, how it impacts everything, right? Now, coming to the JMeter, so this all thing will be captured and all we can see in view result, which is there inside HTTP test system. So this view result tree is all a listener. Listener are used for displaying the result. So this is kind of result one, right? The metrics or whatever. So we can see now there one copy, right? Remember one copy of this request with its body, with its request header, and the transaction is captured in coding controller. Okay, so when you that is why we choose here target and recording control, and grouping is put each group in new transaction controller. So what happened, you can see here that suppose here home page T01, and there are so many, I'll explain them, but for now understand like T01, that is transaction controller. So it's a stand for transaction T01, and if you expand, you can see the request will be there. This was the request, correct? So what happens? These requests are segregated in same this way on a JMeter. So you can see the protocol that will be shown here, the application name or the server name or domain name or IP address that will be here, and the path, right? I just told you that after this, the slash or after slash, whatever the things are there, they are called path. So they will be represented here, see path, and the type of the request, get, put, post, whatever that will be represented here, right? So this is the first request, adapting, right? So we have seen that as well. This is the request, correct? Get request, adapting. Actually, it's HTTPS. Somewhere that will also be there. If it is not showing HTTP, fine. So HTTP and the request. Okay. Now that request, and apart from that, if you just expand this, so you will see headers. So the request, which is you can see the request URL, and here a body will be there. Body means what? If you are sending some parameter, means a file or some value or username password, that is comes under body. So that all you can see here. That all comprises the part request body, right? The request body, and this is request header. For that request, whatever the header will be, right? So that will be captured. Apart from that, you will see like this embedded resources also getting captured. But again, remember, we do not use embedded resources like this. So I'll be telling you that soon. So for now, wait, this is sometime you can see that multiple transaction with same name will be there, right? So that time do not get confused. If you see the home page, transaction is same. These all are. This is the main request, and then we have this so many embedded resources, right? Then this also you can see here, transaction name is same, but this is one of the embedded resources. You can see JPEG file. So we can move it. We can just make Control X. So remember some shortcuts always in JMeter, like Control plus X is used for cut, right? Cut, or Control X, Control C. Control plus C is used for copy, right? Copy, and Control plus V is used for paste, right? Paste. So this request, for now, it belongs to inside this one, right? So we have to keep them in one place. So we will just press Control X and then paste it here and do Control V. So you see it came here. So it came inside one. That is what grouping means. One transaction in and all will be inside that, right? So now this is not needed. We can delete it. Same way, one more time it's repeated. So let us say it's there. So again, some heavy phone icon. It's also embedded resources. So we'll remove this, Control X, select this, Control V. So it got moved here, right? So we do not need this. So now, so if you do like this, then you have a clear idea. So you see home page and all the thing inside. Then next transaction is T02, new user register, right? Uh, Showing also here, name is here. We can change the name and spelling if you want later on, not an issue. And if you expand this, so the next request, which was register.php, right? So that is path, right? You see, after the main URL, whatever comes, that will reflect here, correct? So till here the URL, then this is path for home page. Then for other transaction, all this thing will be shown in the next tab called path. Okay, and then all its embedded resources like PNG capture, you see all this thing that we see, they are here. Now, so now, and then here, if you, so this is the main request, right? Main request, and the request header, which are right. Now, what I'll do is, for now, I'll disable this embedded resources. So from here to here, just select this and press Shift, and then select this. So all will be selected, and press Control T. Okay, Control T. Control T is used for enabling or disabling of element. Okay, remember, enabling, or disabling. That is also called as toggle. Okay? Toggle. So you can see here, toggle word is, yeah, this is toggle, right? Or somewhere it also toggle is there. Enable, disable, toggle, right? So this embedded resources I have disabled, and here also this new user register. I've just kept the main request, right? And here also this all disabling, and I've just kept the main request. Embedded resources all I have disabled. Okay. So now I just want to show you, like we have to understand that uh, why they are there, right? Why this thing is captured and the request and its request header is captured, and the here also request and request header is, because that is what we need to run. So now I'll just do a run. Just like this. So suppose this is for one user. Shift. Oh, it came back. These elements are very
they can move here and there. So just handle them carefully. Okay, they're fragile in nature. So we see here, right? So this request, a transaction and its request, right? So if I do a run, okay, thread group thing down. Actually, what happened? Accidentally, thread this went up like this, and thread gone down. So it happened. Okay, we can move them up and down, right? So they are very fragile in nature. So just click the things carefully. Otherwise, they can move here and there. Okay. So so this is recorder and view result tree. Here we see the things, right? So you know what this view result tree is used for now. But this view result tree is used for running a test. So this test, suppose this is one user, and if I run, so what will happen for one user? You will see that a request will be filed. See, one user launched means hit the home page. So the body and its header, and it tried to receive the response. So response body and response header, and that is the time. Okay? Time, which is in milliseconds, right? Milliseconds. So whenever you click, you see three tab here. Sampler tab where you see the value, then request tab where you see request body, request body, request header, and response tab, response data tab where you see response. Same way, another request register.php got fired, right? You can see, and the response header got response body with response header got received, right? So this is what we do. This is generally what we do, right? Now, same thing. So before I move and explain further thing, so you can see here that what happens is this T02 that we see here, that is the request. Then this is the transaction name. And again, you see, this is the request and this is the transaction name. Okay? Got filed. Now I can run the same thing for two user also. So I can increase the number of user two, and you will see this both will. So this is used for cleaning, right? Brush is there. So try to use first brush initially. Do not use this initially. Okay. So this is used for clearing this result. So I'll clear this, and again I'll click this to run. So when I click, you'll see it is asking to save. You can save. For now, not required. So you see two times, right? One time and two times, and same way one time and two times. Both requests got fired, right? If you want to see this in little bit beautiful way, so what we can do is here just put a check mark in generate parent sample, and here also in both. So generate parent sample, and the same view will little bit good. I'll show you. Just color this and so you'll see two time homepage launch and two time new user register. Right. So two time, and that is what we can run for 5 user, 500 user, 1000 user. So what is the purpose? That is the purpose we have to understand, right? That we have to fire that request, this request or this request that many times for how many number of user you want to test it, correct? And hence we need this request and request header, and that's why they are captured over here. The request and its header with its transaction. Same way the another transaction, its request and its header are captured because they are fired, right? When a user is doing anything, that is what they are fired, right? They are fired, and then we receive the response and we measure the time, correct? And that thing is done for either one user, five user, 100 user, 5000 user, like this. It goes on, correct? It goes on, right? So hope you see. And this view result tree, which is inside this, here everything is there. Here, when we did the recording, this stuff is called recording log. Remember, recording. This is not writing perfectly, but yeah, recording. Okay, recording log or recording details, you can say. Yeah. So it means that at the time of recording, what happened, right? What request went, everything will be saved. What request went. So let us say this is the request, what the request header, and then what response came and what response header came. Everything will be saved here. Okay. So it is called recording log. So everything, every detail, right? Request header, request, what request fired with request body and request header, what response came when we did the, everything will be saved. But remember only here and here, what will be saved here, the recording transaction, the recording request, right? The recorded request with its header and transaction will be saved. And here every log will be saved, correct? And this view result tree is used for when we run the test to see the results. So you got the idea why to view result tree. Now next thing before we close, first thing is see embedded resources, about embedded resources. Okay. So embedded resources and irrelevant thing. So first thing is embedded resources. Okay, we do not keep embedded resources. So even though if you say that they will be captured, right, we do not keep them. So we filter them out. So there is a process to filter also. For now, what I have told you, if you record it like that, so you'll see them getting captured. But tomorrow I'll show you, like generally we do not uh, record like that. We use a filter, right? There is a filter is there, and using the filters we do the recording, so that the embedded resources and irrelevant, what is irrelevant, because I'll come to that first. Embedded resources got filtered. So the embedded resources that you see here or you see here unnecessarily creating confusion, right? They all will be filtered out. Now you'll ask me why we filter them, embedded resources, right? Because suppose the yesterday concept that there are three kind of response times are there. One is one is this response time, and then another response time is like downloading this. So how much time it is taking, correct? So how we yeah. So how how we calculate them if we do not keep embedded resources in our request, correct? Or in our script, which is here. So there is a process for that, which I'll be telling you going forward. Generally, but for now, understand that we do not keep recorded embedded resources in the script. Whatever they are there, we do not keep. Only the main request. A transaction can have one main request or multiple main requests. We only keep them. Okay, not embedded. Even though I'll for now also I can show you. So suppose you want to run a test, this same test. So for now, just for one user, let us say I'm running. Clear this running. So home page, right? It took suppose 830 millisecond, and this took 421 millisecond. Why so less, right? So much less time if you see, because they are running just purely the like just request is going and the response is in code form, and that is what core response time, server side response time, right? Which I talked yesterday, correct? So this is pure server side response time, and generally that is what core performance testing or core performance testing part. But now let us say you want to have the embedded resources also, a time with embedded resources also, right? So how we'll do that? So there is a setting here in same this request, which is here. You see this advanced tab. You can go here, retrieve and parallel download. So I'll be explaining about this going for later on. For now, just do not practice this, but just understand. So here also advanced tab and retrieve. Right? Now same thing if I run. So wait, I will just run on top of this. Okay. So now you see this time it's taking time. So home page, how much it took this time? 5 seconds. And this how much it took? 4 3, almost 5 seconds. This one also. Why? Earlier without embedded resources, 0.8 second, 0.4 second, but with embedded resource now almost 5 seconds, which is 6 seconds. This is
almost 5 seconds. These all are in milliseconds, so we have to read it in second. So this is 5.97, 5097 millisecond means divided by 1000, so 5.97 second, right? This is 4.317 second. Why this? Because embedded resources has been retrieved. Do you want to see them? So just expand this, then this is the request, correct? But do you see one key kind of symbol there also? And if you expand that, you can see all the embedded resources related to that request: main.css, login.js, right? Adapting.gpg, all this, all those got retrieved automatically. Just applying that setting, same way for this also. Expand this and you see, yeah, you see main.css file, uh, JS file, then JS file, images, logo, .jpg, all thing, whatever they are there, all got retrieved, right? But here with this run, which we did without retrieving embedded resources, here no key kind of symbol is there, right? You see here also. So you got the idea how we retrieve the embedded resources by applying a setting here. We do not keep embedded resources in the script. Now you got the idea. They should be automatically retrieved using this setting, right? Not by this, not by keeping them in the script. Okay. So going forward, we will not be keeping them. We will just keeping the main request, right, and transaction. Even there is a filter. Uh, so I'll be telling you how to filter them, right? Uh, fine. Fine. First, so that is done. Then there is a concept of irrelevant thing. So if you see here, when you do a recording, you can see many things from. Do you see from McAfee, Zoom, telemetry, all those things here, Microsoft, right? So many requests related to that, they are captured, right? You see, they are captured from Microsoft Autofill, all this Google API, all these things, right? So they are captured, right? And sometimes they will be captured here as well. So here, if you see this one, this uh, let's see, G static. This is not this is irrelevant request. Why it is called? These requests are called irrelevant, or many people call them unwanted also. Why they are unwanted? Because this is not related to my application, right? What is your application? Your application or our application is adaptinghotel.com. But all these requests that you see, are they related to that? No, they are not related, right? You can even click on them. You can see the request also. They are not related, not related. Or sometimes they request if they captured it. This is not related to that, right? So all these requests are called irrelevant requests or embedded resources, and we do not keep also. Even let us say it got captured here, so we have to delete them, right? You can just select it and delete it. So remove them. So filtering them as well. Now let me just delete this also, because we do not keep embedded resources for them, and we removed everything. So when you go now and let me uncheck this. So when you do this, you see how clean it works. Looks home page, its request, next transaction, its request, and its header. Right? Header.
Sorry, Vaibhav, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah, can you show that setting again, the advanced setting, which is the one, and what is the parameter you have passed for that? Advanced
Here,
and
yep, retrieve.
okay. What is that parallel downloads number? What is
I'll
it?
be, as I said, I'll be explaining them later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so every time when we do the recording and all, so we have to enable this thing for images and all, is it? Embedded resource in
No,
the
no,
sense.
not in. You have to enable, but not through this. There is another way to do. So that's what I said. No, do not practice this part for now. We have a separate discussion for that.
Okay.
Just
And
understand this. This is just
yeah.
a basic. This is not best practice. So do not get confused. Okay.
Okay.
This is just overview we are talking about.
Okay, and one
Another
more
thing.
thing. So actually, most of the time I work, what are the application I work, they are like more like dynamic pages. Like they keep on pulling the data, like a tunneling, like it's keep the WebSocket kind of thing, which keeps on pulling the data. So when I do the recording, it keeps on recording the all the repeated requests. So is there any way to handle this kind of recording?
Uh,
No, it's not a static
we will
page.
check that. We'll
Yeah,
check
it
that
keeps. Okay.
later on. We'll check that. For now, it's
Okay.
getting delayed. So let me finish this. I
Mm-hmm.
have to go also.
Maybe
Okay,
we'll see that later on in the session, somewhere in doubt session, and we'll try to see what to.
sure.
Okay. So just so you got it right. So you see, we cleared them everything and how beautiful it looks. And so you got this embedded. These are, you got understood about embedded resource, and these all are irrelevant. Now, from where these irrelevant things came? Just for now, just note this. Okay, some are from McAfee, some are from Google, uh, Zoom, Microsoft. Right, Zoom meeting is going on McAfee. I have my antivirus called McAfee. Right, Zoom meeting going from them. From Microsoft Live, Office app, because we are using Microsoft PowerPoint and all these things. So from those requests, is all we see here. Right, do you see Office Labs, Teams is also, I have Teams from there, Zoom. So repeated requests from this third party application is shown here, right? So why they come, right? And why they are core 11. So I'll be explaining that tomorrow because it's late now. But we do not keep them also, right? And they will be captured, and we do not have to get confused. What we have to get worried about is just remember your application transaction and the related request. Okay, that's it. It can be a transaction can have one request also or multiple requests. That depends on scenario. And also remember, this thing is not saved. So tomorrow I'll be showing you everything, how to get this thing saved. Like, not saved means, suppose accidentally this thing is saved, we can go and save it by through this and save the test plan. Okay, so on desktop I can save it something. For now, let us save anything, one name, like first record name, and extension of the file will be jmx.jmx file. So we can save that. So this got saved on my desktop, I've saved. But this thing is not saved. Once you close, this recording log is an important thing. And why it is also important, we'll slowly understand. So do not worry. But this whole thing will be saved, but this part is not. Even suppose you have selected this. Okay, I'll tell you. See here, log is there, right? This is called replay log. Replay, because when we replay the test or run the test, we see the result here. And this is when we did the recording, we see the stuff. So suppose you want to, here some stuff are there and you want to clear it, you can use the brush and they will be clear. Here also, say, suppose you have selected this and you are there, and accidentally if you click this brush, they will be gone. See, they're gone, and they cannot be now retrieved, and they are important. So how to do, right? So we have to save them as well. So tomorrow, first I'll be explaining about what is irrelevant request, then with best practices, using the filter, how to do the recording. We'll be using a template called recording, and using those we will be filtering. And today I have shown you how to do recording from Google Chrome. Tomorrow I'll be showing you from Mozilla Firefox, right? And with best practices of recording through a recording use of template called recording template, which will filter out most of the irrelevant requests and resources. And we will also see how to save those recording logs, right, which got deleted, right? And they are in. So once that is covered, then we will talk about a certificate issue also, uh, right? So this is just an overview. Do not practice them for now, I'm saying, because the real session will start from here. Like, so this is, once this is done, then we'll have a walkthrough of JMeter directory, and then from here with best practices, right? So this is introductory. Even though if you want to just practice, you can do, but many questions can come up. So do not get involved much in depth, right? For now, just try to understand few things. Okay, so that is for today. I'm just finishing on good note. So any doubt, we will see tomorrow. Okay, so thank you for attending. Yeah,
See you then. Good night. Thank you.
yeah, bye.